cracker of a main course in the kitchen today. Perfect for the weather this winter, especially for the older members of society.
Oh, Tara Walker, author of Good Food, No Stress, is keeping us warm today. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Tara.
Now, the usual mornings on a Sunday morning, they haven't eaten.
I know, there's like a lot of
ravenous.
vultures very close.
Yeah.
So what are we
Poking
going
at my
to
food,
looking.
them with?
So we're going to do a lovely beef and Guinness stew, lovely and
lovely.
warming.
Lovely, lovely.
Ideal for this cold weather. And you know what's actually lovely about it as well is that you can make a really big pot of it, keep you going nearly for the week.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Dipping into it,
But
yeah.
I'm not going to make loads now because we've a few steps. The whole thing is, I suppose, the early stages are where the work is, but then
Yeah.
you just bung it in the oven and you
what
have it
nice
then.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we want the pot really good and hot. We're going to brown off the meat. You want to hear a sizzle. If you don't hear a sizzle, wait. That's to seal in all the juices and
Do you put
caramelise
flour
it.
on the meat, Tara? Or
No,
do you
I'm not
need
going to. I'm going to make a roux a little bit later on.
Right.
But you could. I find it's harder to control the consistency of the sauce if you have the flour on it there, whereas you
very
can
good.
control it if you do it separately, yeah.
Gotcha.
And also the flour can kind of burn a little bit. But yeah, I mean, lots of people do it that way. It's just my way.
Now, Tara,
I
your
don't.
choice of beef, what cut of beef
Oh
do you
yeah,
use
this
for a
is
stew?
shin beef.
Oh,
Shin
yeah.
beef, yeah.
Shin
So
of beef,
shin beef
yeah.
dice, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really flavourful. And the whole thing is, you can see there's quite a lot of fat content in it there.
Yeah.
So
You know,
are
you can see
Tara,
that.
would you say people who go in and they see, steak chunks and all that, don't do that for a stew, get the shin or another cut?
Absolutely, yeah. What you want is something that has quite a lot of fat in it.
Yeah.
So that renders out during the cooking process. And that also takes quite a long time to cook because that matures the sauce as you're going along.
Yeah.
And if you do get the cut of steak, it will probably dry out, would it?
Absolutely,
Before
yeah. Before the sauce has matured, you know.
Yeah.
And so you can see here, this is what we're looking for. This is very important. And it won't, if you have your pot hot enough, it won't stick to the pan.
Right.
And also you can see I placed it around. I didn't just bung it all in.
Yeah.
And if you just bung it all in, it's not necessarily in contact with the pan.
Did you quite a lot of oil in there, or?
Yeah, I have a rapeseed oil in here, a high burning point oil. And the other thing is that lots of people don't realise, but they have the pan on too low. And suddenly the pan is full of liquid, and that's the meat losing its own juices.
Right.
And if that happens, you'd be better off skipping this step altogether if you're not going to do it properly. You know, that
I
kind of way.
actually made your tagine, which was lamb.
Ah,
And it's similar.
that's why you've got aubergine on the brain.
Exactly.
There you go.
Correct.
You see?
Correct. I did find the meat was sticking to the pan though.
Yeah, I would say probably the pan wasn't hot enough.
Right.
Did you hear a really good sizzle like that?
Maybe not quite that.
Yeah, you need to hear a really, really good sizzle like that. Like, and when you first put the first piece in, if you don't hear a sizzle, like, just wait. You're not committed to the moment. You don't have to keep
I'm
going, you know.
impatient.
He doesn't have any patience, Tara.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
dear.
don't, huh?
No, I don't. Come on, let's get on. Starving here.
Right,
So,
what's next?
right, I'm going. So, I've cooled the pan down now. I've turned the heat down a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to pop all of my nice savoury flavours in now. So I've got onion, celery, carrot, garlic, and then we're just going to pop a little pinch of salt in with those, and some peppercorns as well.
Well, you're chucking in big.
Yeah, big chunks.
yeah.
I'm going to take these out. Now, I know some people leave them in,
All right.
but I'm going to take them out just to make it a little bit more elegant, I suppose.
Okay.
But absolutely, you could leave them in. So we let that just sweat down for a few minutes, normally.
You're going to get loads of flavours and
Exactly.
textures off them, but take them out for the.
Exactly. Take them out
important
for
bit.
thickening the sauce, yeah. So I'm just going to give that a minute, and while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go over here. So I have my carrots here. This is a nice, just little accompaniment, little fresh accompaniment. Like, I know a stew is quite rich and quite thick, so this kind of cuts through the richness. So I'm making, it's like a Vichy carrot, which is basically carrots that are sort of braised in a bit of butter and water, whereas I'm using a little bit of orange here, which just freshens it up a little bit.
Just a little bit of butter.
Just a little bit of butter,
Just
yeah.
a little bit.
Don't be shy, Tara, don't be shy.
And some brown sugar to help with the caramelisation.
Oh, lovely. This is a kind of a Christmas dinner
Yeah,
type.
actually, funny enough,
special.
this is on my classic Christmas cookery class at the cookery school. That's what I had it on the brain because I
plug
did it
in there,
last
Tara.
week. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of tarragon then. So that's
Okay.
very easy to do into
How long
the
would you
oven
cook
just like
that
that.
for, Tara?
They take about 20 minutes, 20 minutes to half an hour. It depends on how sort of chunky you've cut your
So
carrot.
you'll get a bit of fruity, just something a little bit of a different flavour.
Fresher, yeah, exactly. Between the tarragon and the orange juice, the freshly squeezed orange juice.
Lovely.
Beautiful with the
And the
butter and
fresh
sugar
orange
as
is
well.
much nicer. So in here now, I'm going to toast off my tomato puree as well, caramelise that a little bit.
A tablespoon of that, is it?
Yep, a lot of people just add this in after the liquid, but you want to make sure you toast it off and caramelise it a little bit because actually it gets rid of the bitterness of the
Yes,
puree.
yeah.
Yeah, just
If you're
gives it a
making,
nice
if you're
mellowness.
using it in pasta sauces and things, you should do the same. Get the
Yeah,
puree and
absolutely.
cook it
Like, you know,
away.
even just a basic bolognese, people put the tin of tomatoes
Yeah.
in and then they put the squeeze of
Right.
tomato puree in,
The other
so
way
you're
around.
better off doing it the other way around.
Gotcha.
So now, in with the beef. Now, I'd normally be giving this another sort of 10 minutes,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
In with the beef and the juices from it. And now I have my beef stock. And it's really not worth using homemade beef stock here. Like, that would be for your steak where you want to make a nice sauce quickly. In this situation, you've got such great flavour going on that you don't need the whole... I mean, obviously, if you have it,
Yeah.
you want to use it up, do. But I would nearly not waste it on this, if you see what I mean. And some Guinness going in.
Look at Tommy's happy head now. Look. Tommy
So
is-
apart
It is a lovely
Tommy,
sight.
apart from the lamb tagine, apart from the meat sticking, how was it?
Absolutely sensational.
Good. It worked
really
out
good,
well.
yeah.
You gave it plenty of time.
Yeah, it was.
he
It was really
raving
good.
about it after
Good.
he cooked.
And do you know what? We actually froze a portion, had a bit the other day. Forgotten how good it was.
Yeah, I know. These kind of winter warmers
Kids,
are great.
kids
that way.
wouldn't eat it though, unfortunately.
Really? Are you
No.
serious? Gosh, my daughter loves it actually.
Yeah.
Was it a bit spicy?
Was a bit spicy.
Yeah,
so I need to tone back
exactly,
the spices.
yeah.
That was it.
And last of all, what is this, Simon Delaney?
That would be a bouquet garni,
Yes.
Tara, normally
Excuse me?
consisting
Pardon
of
what?
bay leaf, parsley and thyme.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Oh,
So,
man.
are you going to come clean about that?
She told me what it was before we came on. But she did ask me what was in a burkie, and I got one of them right. I said it was parsley. And it depends on what you're cooking, though. They vary, don't they?
Ah, yeah, you can. But the traditional one is thyme, parsley stalks, some bay leaf, and then into a...
And it's wrapped in
It's wrapped in a leek leaf.
leek leaf.
Yeah, and then you remove it at the end,
But you
basically.
know, people think that's a little bit chefy or whatever, but I would use that. You would not believe the flavour that
It
puts
does,
into
yeah.
Thyme,
stew.
bay leaf,
And parsley.
parsley,
Wrapped in a leek leaf. And
Lovely,
away you go.
lovely.
Just leave it in there.
We're gonna keep that bubbling away and come back to you.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to pop it in the oven now. It's going to take about 2.5 to 3 hours in the oven.
Good stuff, great stuff, Tara. Right, up next, we're getting the inside track on one of Ireland's most controversial political figures, Eamon De Valera.
It is cold out there today. Luckily, we're serving up the perfect winter warmer for lunch.
Yes, Tara Walker, author of Good Food, No Stress, is looking after us today. It certainly is a winter warmer. Look good. Part one, we had the meat all going.
Yes, yes. So
Guinness in.
it's almost ready. I just have another little couple of steps to do.
Okay.
And as you can smell, the whole studio has a smell of beef
Oh.
and Guinness stew in it. Everybody's coming over wondering, is it going to be ready yet?
Lovely.
So here I'm just making a little bit of a roux. So I have equal quantities of butter and flour in the pot.
Yeah, this is to
And
thicken
I'm
it
just
up
going
now.
to exactly, and I'm just going to cook it out for a minute because obviously it's kind of got a raw taste. Now, normally at home you'd want to maybe cook this for a good 5 or 6 minutes,
Right. Okay.
just to get rid of that chalky texture.
Okay.
So while that's on the go, I'll show you the actual stew itself. So here we are.
Oh, mammy.
And so, no, this is the one I made earlier. I made
Oh,
this
right.
one last night, yesterday afternoon, actually.
Okay.
And I finished it off here. So we just pop it into a strainer. What I want here is to get the juices out.
May I say it looks
Yes.
good enough to eat already?
It does, to be fair. And like the thing is, you could just eat it like this if you
Yeah.
wanted.
Could,
You could.
yeah.
If you wanted to do it for more of a special occasion or whatever, though, you can just kind of glam
This
it up
isn't
a
a
little
special
bit this
occasion.
way.
Let's get started.
So into the pot, it's going back and then the bouquet garni.
Bouquet
The famous
garni,
bouquet
right.
garni is coming out now at this stage. And you can just sit your beef back in and your vegetables.
And
you
the
can
chunky
take
veg
those.
as well.
Yeah, if you want to take those out, I'm not going to do it. But I actually normally take them out for my dogs, and I mix through their dog food. They love it. It's a little treat for them.
Really?
Yeah, but.
Well fed, those dogs.
Not that
I'd
I'm
say.
saying the crew are
No,
like
no,
dogs or
absolutely
anything, but they
not.
do
No, no,
seem
they're
to be
not.
really, really hungry.
I mean, Tony is panting very heavily,
Some
but
of,
he's
them
not a
need,
dog.
some of them need to be muzzled, I'd say. To be honest.
So here's my roux, okay? Add in with my sauce
right,
from
you
my
put the
stew.
sauce directly into the roux.
Exactly, and I'm going to just let that thicken up. We need to boil that up for a second, and you can whisk it and give it a few more minutes than we're going to give it now, okay? So just give that a good stir.
Do like a nice thick gravy.
Exactly,
You know, in
exactly.
the stew. I think that's the...
And then over here, I've just been frying off some mushrooms, literally just some plain mushrooms in a little bit of butter. That's all I've done there. So I'm going to throw those in. The reason we do these separately is they just have a nicer texture when you do them separately.
Okay.
That's great. tip. I'd normally whack the
Bang it
mushrooms
in.
in.
Yeah, they just get a bit kind of spongy
Yeah.
then, don't they? So I'm just going to have a look at the carrots now
That's
as well.
boiling away there now. You happy with that?
So I want that, and you just give that. I would even give it another few minutes longer than this, you know, just to
Yeah.
really, really make sure it's well combined. But we can pop it in there now.
It's only for us anyway.
And I'd rather probably slightly less sauce, but really flavourful sauce.
Yeah.
So I would always say, like, err on the side of caution when you're putting your liquid into your stew. So put maybe
don't put
slightly
too
less
much.
and then put more in, because if it's too liquidy, you're going to dilute the nice rich flavour, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
So let's have a look at our carrots also. So these have just been braising away in that nice orange.
How long and what temperature?
Yeah, so they were in for about half an hour at 180 to 200. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so there was a little bit of orange juice, butter, and sugar in there.
sugar.
And here's my little bit of tarragon, and that just gives a nice
Beautiful.
little freshness too. And we're going to serve up. I brought some mashed potatoes as well.
Oh, Tara, you know us so well.
I think actually, of all the days to be here with this particular dish,
You
this
go
has
ahead,
been
Tommy.
ideal. Is that not really hot?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You're
That's why-
always
that's
burning
why
your
he's-
mouth.
That's why he's gone quiet, Tara. What seldom is wonderful. So, a mashed potato.
Some rich mashed potato. Now, I have to admit, there's plenty of butter and cream in this mashed potato.
Good, yes,
What's wrong
well
with
done.
that?
And we'll pop our carrots in as well.
I'm ready, look.
Look how much cutlery I have for everybody.
Yeah, well, there's only one knife and fork.
And finally, the beef
You've got a
itself.
spoon as well. Are you a believer in the spoon for
Oh,
the stew?
definitely. And get the nice juices up as well.
Looks good,
So, there we go.
Looks amazing. And absolutely
Beautiful.
spot on for a day like today.
And a nice bit of greenery always just livens it up a little bit.
Beautiful,
There we
Tara.
go.
Voila.
Enjoy,
Tell you what, we'll leave
folks.
that one for the crew. And
This
we'll-
one
we'll
is
leave it
for Martin and Delaney.
incorporate.
Just mind your mouths. They're very hot.
It's very hot, Tommy, just be careful. Wouldn't want you hurting yourself. Well,
Good.
Tara,
Tara,
good job.
you've got the Martin
That is
seal of
delicious.
approval.
Velvety, gravy, lovely meat falling.
Yeah, and the velvety
Part.
bit you're talking about, that's because we made the roux. We just got that extra little step.
It's a hit. Tara's full recipe is up on our website, as always, or check out her book, Good Food, No Stress. Great stuff on there.
Up next is the brilliant Phil Coulter. You there, Phil? Yeah. He is indeed. See you in a few minutes.
Stew for you, Phil.